Hello, friends, and welcome to Elements and Alchemy, the podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Johnson, sharing the astrological, lunar, and tarot influences for March 12th through March 15th, 2019. I want to start off with a very brief apology for being so late. Last week was absolutely bananas in my life. I had my son home for 2 days, 2 huge events that I had to work, and as hard as I tried to get this podcast done in time for Friday, Saturday, when I usually release them, it just was not happening. So my sincerest apologies for that. But I really have been called to put into effect like what's happening for the next 3 to 4 days. The weekend was rather quiet, coming off of the new moon in Pisces last week. The weekend was really rather quiet. We were still in a lot of in the movement of just kind of letting go and letting God, like allowing the unseen hands to take us where we need to be, allowing the unseen hands to move and position things, because we now have the dream that we hold, the dream for our life, the dream that we hold for ourselves. And as the dream moves through the waters of Pisces, it's carried in our consciousness by the sun in the waters of Pisces. As that dream moves through, it's becoming alive, and it's becoming something that we're going to be able to manifest in the coming months. So what we're doing right now, like I said, just by allowing, there's not a lot of astrological aspects. I shouldn't say there's not a lot of astrological aspects. There's not a lot of major, what people would call major astrological aspects, such as like conjunctions and trines and squares and things like that. We're not in a space of a lot of those aspects happening astrologically. We're in the more subtle aspects where there are things, like the way I read those subtle aspects, they're the things that go on behind the scenes. They're the things that allow us to align with higher will, higher purpose. They're higher octave energies that we have access to, and they're more things where Spirit's working on our behalf. So that's kind of where we've been since the Pisces new moon last week. That was really, really asking us to, allow our dream to begin to become reality. Okay. And by allowing that means, like I said, we have to kind of let go. We know what it is we want, but now we need to allow Spirit to do what Spirit does, because Spirit has the view that we don't have. We can't see. We can only see what's in front of us. We can only see what's ahead of us. We can only see what's around us. We don't have that bigger picture perspective and the all-seeing eye that, that Source has. And that's why Source is able to move things for us that we don't even know need to be moved. So it's been a lot of letting go of the hows and just being in the present and being with ourselves and understanding that, we can relax a little bit. We can relax a little bit. We can be inspired. We can, we can really hold fast to our dreams, if that makes any sense. So anyway, so this weekend we were in that zone, and the moon was in Taurus, basically like late Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And that was a little, I think because Uranus moved into Taurus last week, and with the moon being there, I felt that, at least I heard from a lot of folks, that, the energies were a little ramped up, and I think it just made folks really, really like hyper aware of Uranus's presence in Taurus, like on an emotional, like on a, just kind of like a deep feeling level. Like we could feel things beginning to move, we can really, really feel things beginning to move, and it can feel a little destabilizing and a little weird, because like now, like once our emotions get involved, like Uranus is there on that first degree, on 0 degrees of Taurus, and really like kind of the motion that I'm making right now is like actually just like vibrating, okay, because Uranus is electricity. Uranus is shock. Uranus is, it's lightning bolts and hitting the ground. Like Uranus will in general, like kind of like, zap something, but Taurus is earth, and earth is grounding. Earth absorbs that shock, but the shock is still there. So what it does is it kind of just creates a vibration in the earth. It's earthquakes, it's earthquakes, it's movement of the earth. And I think that, a lot of folks were feeling that this weekend, just that deep movement. And like I said before, with, the unseen hands and that letting go, letting God kind of thing, where things are moving and we can feel that they're moving, but we can't, like, it's out of our control. It's out of our control, and we don't see where things are going. So it's almost like, I don't know, like being on a ride blindfolded, okay? Like, you're at an amusement park and you're going on a roller coaster and somebody blindfolds you before you get on the roller coaster. So you can feel everything that's happening. You can feel the roller coaster getting ready to take off. You can feel, you're being moved into the cart and everything, but you can't see anything that's happening. That's kind of that's the image that I'm getting. Like, we're getting moved and we can't necessarily see where it is that we're going, because it's not for us to see. Like I said before, we don't know all of the things that need to move in order for us to be able to birth our dreams into the physical. Okay, so today is Tuesday, March 12th. And today the moon is in Gemini. Okay. Yes, the moon is in Gemini. And the moon today is sextiling Mercury. Okay, so the moon in Gemini is really, it's about our emotional intelligence, how we communicate our emotions. Okay, moon in Gemini is very detached. It's a detached kind of moon. It's very mental. Okay, so we do a lot of analyzing and processing of our emotions in order to be able to communicate them to other people. So it's a moon that lets you know how it feels. Okay. So Mercury, which rules Gemini. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. Oh, my fault. Shoot. I read my notes all jumbled up. All right, so my fault, because I'm wait a minute, that's totally wrong. Okay, moon sextile Mercury. Moon is still in Taurus this morning. Sorry. So moon in Taurus is about our emotional resources, what we have at our disposal emotionally to share with another person, okay? To share with the world, to share with, what we have at our disposal. It's also our talent. So it's our emotional propensity for just to be able to share. The Taurus Scorpio axis is about sharing. Okay, so it's about that propensity, our emotional resources, what we have at our disposal emotionally to reach out to another, to reach out to invest ourselves in a situation. Okay, so it's what we have to invest in a situation. It's not the investment itself, but it is what we have at our disposal emotionally to invest into something or someone. Okay, so that's moon in Taurus. And the moon is exalted in Taurus. So the moon is very comfortable in Taurus. And like I said, with Uranus being at 0 degrees Taurus, and that kind of reverbing throughout the entire 30 degrees of Taurus. That's how I feel. I feel like it's a reverb. Uranus sitting at 0 degrees Taurus is literally hitting the ground, and it's just reverberating all throughout the sign. So it's not just those the few degrees surrounding it, which is usually how astrology works. With when we talk about aspects, it's usually a few degrees around surrounding a particular planet at a degree. Those are usually the ones where it's most potent. But I feel because Uranus just made this shift, Uranus is such a collective energy that sitting on that 0 degrees of Taurus, it's really, really reverbing throughout Taurus. Okay, so every degree of Taurus, I feel is really, really feeling some kind of movement, some kind of shaking, some kind of vibration, because it's the earth. Okay. And if there's something that big happening, it's gonna trickle out. It's gonna move out. Okay. So moon, which is, like I said, our emotional resources, sextiling, which is it's an opportunity aspect. It's not something that you have to take. It's a pleasant invitation. So we're going to be feeling within our emotions, because Mercury is still in Pisces right now. Mercury's moving backwards. We know Mercury's retrograde through Pisces. And that moon sextiling Mercury in Pisces, it's showing us it's giving us an opportunity. Okay, by showing us the relationship between what we have as resources emotionally. Okay, we're connected to our resources, we're connected to our talents, we're connected to the things that we openly share into the world to invest with. Okay, we're aware of what it is that we have to give, okay? And Mercury's in Pisces with the concept of what was the blueprint prior to last Wednesday and the new moon. Now our blueprint has turned into a dream. Like it's getting life. It's coming into being. Like we can see it, we can visualize. Like things are starting to move into place, so that it's not just this concept so much in our minds of like this kind of vision board. It's actually something that's starting to take shape and take form. So Mercury is holding this concept, and every time Mercury, connects with a planet, because Mercury it's our intellect. It's how we are intellectualizing this dream that we hold for ourselves. Okay, so every planetary body that Mercury's coming into contact with during this retrograde, it's asking us to rethink. Okay, rethink and reconsider what it is, like certain concepts of this dream that we have, certain things that we've thought in the past, perhaps, that are influencing how we conceptualize this dream, how we think about it, okay, how we think about ourselves within it, how we think about the other people who are with us in it, okay? So it's asking us to really, really reconsider the concept of our dream, okay? And with the moon sextile, it's asking us to reconsider, what it is that we have at our disposal emotionally to invest with, to build with, okay? Because the moon is in Taurus. The moon is also, it's about the resources that we use to build. Taurus is also building. So it's an invitation to understand what it is that we have at our disposal in which to build our dream. Okay, that's what that is. So it's an invitation to understand what emotions that we have, what talents that we have, what it is that we are willing to give, what it is that we have to give to this concept of our dream. Okay, that's what the moon sextiling Mercury is all about today. So we're going to be feeling inside, really, probably really good. I feel like we'll be feeling pretty good about what it is that we have. Okay. And it might, like I said, we might still be feeling a little shaky because Uranus is there, but I feel like if we can really ground ourselves, which is what Taurus is about grounding. If we can ground ourselves, we can really, really feel into, really tap our resources, tap what it is that we have, and pull that up into our minds to understand kind of. Mercury in Pisces it's an intuitive mind, so it won't be necessarily like this a lot of brain work involved, but it will be like this intuitive understanding of like, okay, this is what I have to give, and this is how it relates to my dream. This is what I am willing to give to my dream. This is what I am willing to give for my dream. Okay. And it might mean making some sacrifices, especially since Mercury is moving backwards. We're being asked to reconsider certain things. Okay. So it might be reconsidering where it is that you have put resources before and reallocating them. Okay. So just different things to think about with that one aspect, but it's a big one because we're moving into the first quarter square on Thursday, which is really kind of like the biggest day astrologically this week. So I guess that's why Spirit was like, relax on everything, just do the next 4 days. So anyway, then we have Moon in Taurus is going to trine the south node of the moon, okay, in Capricorn. And we talked about the nodes of the moon. They're our evolutionary continuum. Okay, so it's where it's really where we're evolving from and where we're evolving to. They're always in opposition. Right now they're in Capricorn, south node, and the north node is in Cancer. The north node is our evolutionary, it's our point of destiny, okay, where we need to learn to evolve with those particular energies. Right now it's Cancer, so that Cancer is asking us what is home, who is home, and how to find home within ourselves so that we can create home around us. So how do we create home internally so that we can create home externally and have that security, have that connection, have the nourishment and the nurturing that Cancer seeks? Okay, that's where we're being asked to evolve to for the next 13 months while the nodes are on this axis. The south node in Capricorn is asking us, how have we given our power away or misused our power? Capricorn is about personal power. Okay, so how has our personal power perhaps been misused, either by giving it away or lording it over someone? Okay, how have we misused our personal power in order to have false senses of security, in order to feel secure? Okay, because any type of power imbalance means that you are not truly secure. Okay, and that's what the south node in Capricorn right now is showing us, and also allowing us to have that power back if we open up to do the work, if we look toward the north node and begin to understand, because it's a pain. It can be painful because these are our deep needs for security. These are our deep needs for attachment and connection. Okay, these are very primal. Cancer is a very primal sign, so it's our deepest needs for connection and security. And especially if throughout points in your life, if you have not had those needs met, this could be a harder transit, okay, in finding out what those things mean for you, because it means that you have to open up in a different way to actually find out what it is that you do need, okay, by examining the things that you potentially did not have at certain points. Okay, so, but that's what the south node is asking us to do. Where have we lost power? Okay, where have we lost power trying to get security? Okay, so the moon being in Taurus still is going to be in a flow with that south node. Okay, it's going to be in a flow with that south node. It's asking us about our power. Okay, and the moon right now being in Taurus and holding on to our emotional resources is really, we're going to be very, very keenly aware. Okay, because once again, Capricorn is about investment. Okay, it's about what you invest in. It's the things that you invest in to have security. Okay, so we're going to be very keenly aware, I feel, about what resources that we have invested emotionally in order to, gain a false sense of personal power, or perhaps, I don't want to say false sense because it's a trine. So we could be feeling like a lot of different things. So it could be, we're just going to be more aware of what resources we have at our disposal and how we have used them to either empower ourselves or disempower ourselves. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so it's what resources that we have. We're going to be feeling that. What emotional resources that we have, and how have we invested them? Have we invested them for our personal power? Have we invested them for, and I'm talking true personal power, not like that bullshit where, you run around acting like a damn maniac and an asshole, ordering people around. That's not power. Okay, that's once again a false sense of security where you have to like push everyone else down so that you stand up. That's false security, okay? If you're really secure in where you are, you can meet people from where you are, and you don't have to mash them down, and you don't have to elevate yourself, okay? Or you don't have to elevate them and make yourself small. The inverse is true also. You can meet people where you are and allow them to be where they are, okay? So that our emotional resources, once again, we're kind of checking them, okay? And that South Node is kind of reminding us, okay, because it's the past, it's our karmic past, and this is collectively, okay, it's collectively our karmic past of like, okay, in the past, how have these things, like, how have we, like, where has our power gone? Like, here are our resources, and we are taking these resources and investing them in this particular way. Has this been empowering? Okay, and this is with that sextile to Mercury as well. We're going to be thinking about that because that's what Mercury is reconsidering. Okay, it's a reallocation of investment, because right now it's about our dream right now. Okay, it's about our dream right now. And if we are investing our emotional resources or any resources into things that are disempowering to us, that energy is not being funneled into our dream. It's not being funneled into what it is that we actually want to build. So that's why that connection to the South Node and the connection that the moon is making to Mercury, they're important connections that we need to consider, because it's about reallocating our resources. Okay? And if we do that, then the moon is also in a sextile to the North Node in Cancer, okay, which is helping us to understand where it is that we actually want to go. Okay, so we can feel into, it's that invitation once again. If we take that invitation to look, okay, and to feel into what brings us security, it's going to tell us, it's the North Node, it's our node of evolution, where it is, we can feel where it is that we want to go. We can feel that, okay, and we're going to be able to feel what that feels like, to feel secure, and we can envision it, we can feel it in our souls, okay? We can feel it on a soul level, because, the moon is talking to the North Node, which is pulling us along this evolutionary track and asking us, okay, what's home? Okay, we'll be able to feel what's home for us, okay? And if it is in too much contrast to the South Node, where we've been pouring our resources, we're going to be looking at our resources and where they're going and what we've been investing in, and does that make us feel like home? Okay, does that feel like home for us? Okay, and then Mercury will, with the concept of this dream in Pisces, will be asking us to rethink and reallocate these resources for our own benefit so that we can build our home for ourselves. That's really what this is about. Okay, it's kind of funny. It's like we're building our dream home. Okay, like we just did this blueprint in Aquarius, all right? And all the while, like, the North Node has been in Cancer, which is home. Okay, Cancer is home. It's the home within and the home without. And now, like, with the Sun and Mercury and Pisces, and now it's like the dream, like this has become our dream, but now we're building our dream home. Okay, so this is really asking us what resources that we want to allocate, okay, in order for us to build our dream home. All right. Then the moon's going to move into Gemini, okay? And the moon is going to be in Gemini for the next couple of days. And so tomorrow, Wednesday the 13th, the moon in Gemini is going to trine Venus in Aquarius. Okay, so a trine is a very, very fluid and flowing energy between two signs of the same element. Okay, so Gemini is air, Aquarius is air. They're kin, they understand each other. They don't need translation. They don't need, intermediaries or anything else. It's a very flowing energy. So the moon in Gemini, which is our emotional intelligence. Okay, it's emotional intelligence in the sense that it's not so much like we get feelings, but the feelings come to us in the form of thoughts. Okay, so it's almost kind of like we were having a feeling and that feeling immediately goes to our mind for processing. Okay, all right, so we think a lot about how we feel and we like to talk a lot about how we feel. Okay, so that's the moon in Gemini, and we have this intelligence emotionally to be able to explain how it is that we feel. Okay, we can talk about it, we can think about it, we can, kind of process our emotions in a way that allows us to communicate them. All right. Venus in Aquarius, and Venus has just been kind of chilling up there in Aquarius, and Venus in Aquarius it's a more detached version of Venus as well. Okay, so the moon is more detached and thinking about things. It's still a feeling. I mean, the moon is always about our feelings, but our feelings kind of they go through the mind, okay, and then they come back out through the mouth, okay, or through some kind of action, because Mercury is also actions that we take, like how we move through the world. So Venus in Aquarius is also detached, like I said, and our value systems are kind of getting reworked. Okay, we're coming at our value system from a higher place. Okay, Aquarius rules the higher mind, higher thinking. Okay, Uranus rules Aquarius. So Venus right now is in a place of not being so attached to, how am I trying to say this? Not being so attached to the things that Venus is usually attached to. Okay, Venus rules both Taurus and Libra, so Venus rules anything that we value. So, be that art or, money or, people, things, whatever. Venus right now is taking a very, very broad view because Venus can tend to be rather self-focused is what I want to say. So Venus right now is taking a much, much broader view and focusing more on a bigger picture of what it is that we need to, how it is that we need to connect with others, okay, in order for our dreams to become manifest reality, okay? And by talking in this trine with the moon in Gemini, okay, we just had like all of these feelings coming through, okay, about what's home, where have we been allocating our emotional resources, how do we kind of reconfigure and reallocate our emotional resources in order to build this dream home within ourselves and outside of ourselves. How do we do that? The moon just has all of this, the moon is now in a place of being able to process all of that. Okay, process all of that and bring it up into our minds. Okay, because dealing with, the moon in Taurus, it's a weighty moon. Okay, and it's very much about how it's feeling. Okay, so you might have been feeling a lot of that stuff in your body, but now we're able to think about it. Okay, we're able to think about it because we're now processing all of that information really in our minds now. Okay, the moon, our feelings are going up into our minds and we're processing all of that. And with that trine to Venus, okay, Venus is like this bigger picture. What is our emotional resources? Okay, Venus rules Taurus, so Venus rules our resources. Okay, Venus rules money. Venus rules all that stuff. So now Venus is the moon and Venus are talking, and Venus is having this bigger picture of how we can allocate. Okay, where do things need to go? Okay, before we knew that things needed to be rearranged, but we didn't quite understand. We could feel that things needed to be rearranged. But now Venus is able to see that bigger picture. And because Venus rules resources, Venus is in a space to be able to see where the resources need to be allocated. Okay, who we need to connect to, where we need to connect, how we need to connect. That's what Venus is showing us. Where and how and who the resources need to go to so that we can continue to build this dream. Okay, that's Moon in Gemini, trine Venus in Aquarius. Okay, and then the moon is going to square Neptune. Okay, so the moon in Gemini is going to square Neptune in Pisces. Okay, and moon square Neptune can be it can be kind of a harder aspect. I mean, not hard in the sense that like you feel it as hard. It kind of feels confusing. Okay, it can be a bit confusing. I feel like because the moon has the clarity, because the moon's in Gemini, so there's clarity. I think we have a lot of emotional clarity with the moon in Gemini. Because we'll be able to we're looking at how we can reallocate things, and the moon coming off of that trine with Venus, like we understand a lot, but of where like things need to go and how we need to reallocate our emotional resources and where we need to kind of put ourselves and put other people and put other things. It's just like I said, it's a reconsidering. Like these are, we're just making little tweaks to this blueprint dream that we have so we can build this dream house. But moon square Neptune, I feel like it's going to be, we're going to have some clarity perhaps on some things that we were not clear about before, okay? Because Neptune rules illusion, delusion, things like that. So, and it's a square. So squares are frictional aspects. So I don't feel as though it's going to squares do if handled, okay? They want us to move. Squares want us to move. They want us to grow. They want us to do something because there's a gift at the end of that. But I do feel like there might be a moment of, maybe some kind of disillusionment because we have this emotional clarity and something that we were not clear on previously. Okay, because now Mercury is retrograde in Pisces. There's a lot asking us to redo, and we're done with so many cycles right now that things that were not clear, okay, or things that we were like, oh, maybe, and we kind of weren't really ready to let go on an emotional level. We'll have that perspective to be able to do that with the moon in Gemini. And I think that we're going to get some clarity about some things that we were perhaps deluding ourselves about or under some illusions about, because it's going to open us up, okay, to continue to move forward, okay, to continue to move forward. The moon in Gemini has this emotional clarity. Neptune in Pisces. Pisces is the soul. Neptune rules Pisces. So it rules our dreams. It rules all of the things that are possible in our collective unconsciousness, okay? And because of this square, if we've been in a place of denial or delusion or playing the victim or playing the martyr or any one of those things, okay, because that's usually the irritation that comes up with a moon square Neptune kind of thing. It's where we've been deluding ourselves under illusion, playing the victim, playing the martyr, and then being confused about what we're doing and where we are because we want to stay in this denial. Okay, I think that the moon in Gemini is going to really be giving us a lot of clarity, and we're not going to be able to hide anymore. Okay, and things are going to begin to kind of rise to the surface, okay, so that we can deal with them. And when we do deal with them, then the gift that we get from that square is that we'll be able to understand, oh, okay, because, we'll be able to understand what needs to happen so that we can keep building this dream. Build the dream house, build the dream house, build the dream house. That's what this is all about. It's about building our dream home within and without. Okay, so moon square Neptune. So I think that, like I said, it'll be a bit of a rub, maybe a little bit of confusion, but after, like, if we can move and work through that and admit some hard things to ourselves, then we get the gift of inspiration. We get the gift of understanding what it is that we need to do moving forward, okay? Because Neptune will give that gift after that square. Like, if we work through that square, the gift is inspiration, okay? And understanding of what it is that our dream needs, okay, on an emotional level, and we can hold that in our minds, okay? We'll be able to take that and process it and think it out, okay? So that is Moon square Neptune, and Wednesday, the Sun is going to sextile Pluto. So the Sun in Pisces, okay, is going to sextile Pluto in Capricorn, all right? And once again, sextiles are opportunity aspects. It's an invitation for growth. Okay, it's a pleasant invitation for growth, all right? A square is an invitation for growth, but it's irritating, okay? And it's usually so irritating that you end up doing something about it, okay? But a sextile, it's a pleasant invitation. You can take it or leave it. If you decide to take that invitation, then you get growth out of it, okay? It's something that can grow with you and grow for you. So the Sun in Pisces, which is the consciousness of this dream that we're holding, okay? Consciousness of this dream that we have. And Pluto in Capricorn, which I've said before, is really plumbing the roots of our personal power, okay? That's what Pluto's doing in Capricorn. It's all about personal power and getting to the root of where and what is our personal power, and getting rid of anything that takes that away from us, okay? Getting rid of anything where we are, misusing it, either against others or having it used against ourselves. Like, Pluto's eradicating all of that, okay, and asking us to build up new structures. So with the Sun holding this consciousness of the dream that we want and meeting with Pluto, it's an opportunity for us to inform our dream and inform our personal power, okay, at the root, like build new foundations, okay? Our dream, if we're going to build a dream home within ourselves, that foundation has got to be strong, okay? And the only way that we can have strong foundations is if we are rooted in our own personal power completely and fully, okay? So Pluto meeting with the Sun in the sextile, it's an invitation and an opportunity to really look within and understand where we stand right now in this moment, even in the shifting, watery bliss of Pisces, okay? But to understand what anchors us, how we are anchored, okay? And because really, if we're anchored, no force can come against us. Not even the flowy waters and the Neptunian waters of Pisces. No force can come and knock us down, okay, if we are truly, truly rooted in our personal power. And that's what Pluto and the Sun are talking about. It's the sextile. It's an opportunity for us to understand. And I don't know how that's going to come up for each one of us, but we'll be getting some kind of invitation to understand how we are rooted, okay? And how this rooting is going to affect the dream home that we build within ourselves, okay? Because really, we can't begin to build outside of ourselves until we are right inside, okay? Because the inside is just, whatever's on the inside is going to manifest on the outside, okay? So it's very important that we know that we are anchored, so that if we are anchored and we can begin to build home within ourselves, then whatever the structures, whatever the things, whatever the people, the places, those things will be anchored for us in our external reality, okay? That's what this is about right now, okay? And so Thursday is the big day, okay? So we have the first quarter square of the Sun and the Moon, okay? So the first quarter square occurs the week after a new moon, okay? So it's halfway between a new moon and a full moon, and it's friction, it's a square, okay? It's a frictional aspect because it's growing, okay? Growth is friction, all right? Growth is friction. Anytime you have to grow, it can be uncomfortable. So we seeded something with the Pisces new moon, and it was a lot of just, opening up to the dream, letting go, being inspired, that kind of thing. And the dream getting a soul, the dream coming to life, the dream really becoming inspired. Inspiration means taking in spirit. Okay. That's what inspiration means, taking in of spirit. So our dream is coming to life. Okay. And then we have, we're going to have a full moon, next week. Okay. And that full moon's going to be in Virgo. So we're right in between new moon and full moon. Excuse me. Is that going to be in Virgo? Oh no, sorry, not in Virgo. It's going to be in Libra. My fault. It's going to be on the first degree of Libra. Yeah. Cause I'm like, wait a minute. That's wrong. Yeah, it's going to be in Libra. But so yeah, we're between a Pisces new moon and a Libra full moon. And the moon in Gemini, like I said, we're getting a lot of clarity. Okay. We're thinking a lot about our emotions. Okay. And we're thinking a lot about, Gemini is also a mutable sign. So there's clarity, but we're able to go back and forth with ourselves, within ourselves, which can sometimes be a pain in the ass. But we're able to kind of go back and forth with ourselves about what it is that, we need emotionally and kind of see both sides of our situations. But really, I feel like these are moments of clarity, like just very, very clear thinking. Okay. Very clear thinking about what it is that we need, because now the sun is in Pisces. Okay. Sun is in Pisces, having just gotten done, the previous day, sextiling Pluto. So we're understanding where we stand in our power. Okay. We have this understanding of where we stand in our power in order to build this dream home within. Okay. And that square is going to cause some friction, because also the moon just got done squaring Neptune the day before as well. Okay. So it's really, I feel like getting very clear. Okay. Neptune is not big on clarity. Okay. And I think that that's why it's so frictional, because we'll be getting very clear on an emotional level. Okay, about what it is that how we need to, like I said before, reallocate our resources. Okay, shift things around. It's once again, it's another round of pruning. Okay, it's another round of pruning, because this dream is coming into being. It's inspired. It's moving. Okay, unseen hands and unseen forces are still moving on our behalf. Things are changing. Okay, the seas are churning, and I feel like it's. The sun in Pisces, it's this consciousness of this dream, and the moon in Gemini, okay, it's kind of shining the light. Okay, if there's anything not so great in the dream, okay, like, things that we still need to adjust for, okay, the moon in Gemini is thinking about that, processing that so that we can understand it. Also, if there's anything in our emotional spaces, okay, because like I said, Gemini is a dual sign. So if we're flip-flopping back and forth about something and we're like, well, yes, but then I can see on this side where, the moon in Gemini can kind of do that emotionally, like kind of flip-flop back and forth, where, yes, I see, and then, but this is true also, but then this is also true, and this is also true. It's like a lot of multiplicity, okay? Our dream is standing in Pisces as this, we are holding this dream in our consciousness, okay? The sun could potentially, and this is where I really think, this is where I think it's coming up right now, that the square is where any place that we're going back and forth in our own minds, okay, about what needs to change, what needs to go, what needs to change, what needs to go, and having this multiplicity about, well, it's kind of okay, because I can see where it would, it could be beneficial, but has it been beneficial? Is it really, really going to work for this dream that we're holding? Okay. And that's the square. Like, we're going to have to let some things go. It's another round of letting things go. Mercury's still moving through Pisces, my friends, so we're still letting shit go. It's reworking. It's this retrograde, reworking, rethinking, recalibrating, reallocating, okay? So we're going to have to let some more things go, okay? And anything that we've been dilly-dallying in our minds, because we're having feelings, but we're like back and forth about the feelings. Well, I don't know, and blah, 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 blah. Does it line up with the dream? Does it line up with the dream for home? Okay. Does it line up with our personal power? Okay. We can't stand in our personal power if we're dilly-dallying. Okay. If we're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you're not actually standing anywhere. Okay. We need to be rooted somewhere. Okay. So we can't have that multiplicity for this dream. Okay. And yes, we can have like the fluidity and the ability to let things in and out as we need them, but we can't go back and forth in our minds about whether or not something needs to stay, something needs to go, something should be here, something, we can't do that anymore. Okay. And I think that's what is coming up. Okay. We have to let those things go. That's what that square is. It's really coming to that point of clarity and point of balance. Gemini, when it's balanced, is just clarity. Okay, it's clarity, and it's able to just be like, okay, and that's it, and we can go flit off and do something else, okay? Because you're not attached really emotionally, you're attached to the thinking of it, okay? Gemini does not tend to get emotionally attached to things, okay? So really, it's just stopping monkey mind from going back and forth about some bullshit, because really we don't care, we're just wrapped up in the thinking. We already know what needs to go, what needs to stay. Okay? So I feel like that's the square. Whatever you know in your heart, okay? Because our consciousness, like, this is intuition time. Whatever's going on in your heart, that's where you need to go. Okay? When we start bringing things too much into our minds, then it starts becoming like this, like, we just kind of get off on thinking about shit over and over again and running it through our brains, and it's not necessary. Okay. And we can't do that right now because things are moving, and they're moving faster than we might even know. Okay. I know it might not feel like it because Mercury is retrograde and Pisces and all this stuff. And, Uranus is just at that 0 degree vibrating, but things are moving. Things are shifting. Even when something's vibrating, if it's shaken hard enough, things start to move around, okay? And we can't see, but they are. And it's time to really stop with our own mental fuckery and get super clear. Super, 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 super clear. Okay, so while the moon is squaring the sun, the moon will also be opposing Jupiter. Okay, so this is going to create a T-square, okay, because the moon is going to be squaring the sun, opposing Jupiter, okay, and while the moon is opposing Jupiter, Jupiter is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is about our big picture thinking. It's about expanding, okay, it's about universal truth, okay, it's about truth, it's about faith, okay, and this is what I was saying about, Gemini, that moon in Gemini could be like under a lot of stress because it's like it was having a really nice time talking to Venus because it didn't have that stress of having to choose. Okay, Gemini is also about decisions and choices. Okay, and now, with the square to the sun and this opposition to Jupiter, the moon has to choose. And that's when we get in our heads about, maybe it can stay, maybe it can go, maybe it can stay, maybe. And we just kind of flip flop and ping pong back and forth. And there is none of that. Jupiter's like, okay, I'm up here. This is what is true. This is your higher truth. This is your higher self. Okay. Sagittarius also rules our higher selves. Okay. This is the highest. Okay. And it's asking the moon in Gemini to come into, like I said, that clarity of what is for our highest good. Stop ping-ponging back and forth. Stop the mental fuckery. Okay, what is in our highest good? What is the highest decision that we can make? And if we don't know, like I said, it's go from the heart, let go, ask. Okay, Gemini is also about questions. Ask, what is in my highest good? Please show me. I have this dream that I want. Please show me what is in my highest good. What is in the highest good for all here? Because if it's in your highest good, it's in the highest good for everyone around you. Okay? What is the highest good? That I feel is the getting through the square to not tomorrow, excuse me. Getting through the square on Thursday is really, really asking what is in our highest good. Okay, what is in our highest good? Because the sun is also going to square Jupiter, okay? And the sun in Pisces holding our consciousness, squaring Jupiter in that highest truth. I feel as though the moon is going to be taking a lot of this. And if we take it through the moon and ask the question, okay, I feel as though the sun and Jupiter will work it out. Jupiter also is co-ruler of Pisces. Okay, so it is about expansion. It is about that soul truth of connection. It is about all of those things. We can get a little confused, okay, because the sun holding our dream consciousness and Jupiter being in Sag, asking us, is there some kind of because I feel like the square to the sun, is there some kind of a belief system, something that we believe, something that we've mentally taken to heart, okay, that will disallow this dream to come into being, okay? All right, so Jupiter's also looking at the sun. The moon is looking at the sun. Everybody's looking at the sun, okay? Everybody's looking at the sun. Jupiter's looking at the sun. The moon is looking at the sun. The moon is looking at Jupiter. Jupiter's looking at the moon, okay? And it's is there some kind of core belief thinking structure that we have, okay, that is keeping us in this state of back and forth in our minds, okay, about what it is that we need to let go of? And that's what I'm saying. Ask for the highest, okay? When we have T-squares in the sky, a lot of times in order to let that energy out, the point below, Virgo is opposite the sun, okay? So we want to go to Virgo. Virgo's about discernment, okay? Virgo's about discernment and the details of things, okay? So ask for the highest, okay? When we ask for the highest, we're asking for that discernment. Ask for what's in the highest good, okay? Because Thursday can be a really hard day. It can be confusing. It can be a lot of mental struggle and anguish and just kind of I don't know. And you might just want to throw in the towel. But if you ask for the highest, and even if you remember at the last second after all of this is taking place, because that often happens to me, I get so much thrown into a situation and I'm oh my gosh. And then it's I have to zoom out and be oh, right. Okay. Take a breath. And now what's the best course of action? Just keep remembering what is in my highest good. Okay. What's the highest good in this situation? What is the highest good that can bring this dream into reality? Okay, and anything that is not aligned with that highest good, please take it away. Okay? All right, that's basically Thursday's message. All right, because here we have the moon is going to go on from squaring the sun and opposing Jupiter. The moon is going to go on to square Mercury. Okay, and this is what I'm saying, Mercury's holding the concept now. So we've talked about the consciousness of our dream and the concept of our dream. Okay, and the moon now is talking to the concept and squaring. So it's we could really, really be having a lot of trouble mentally. Okay, making a decision. It's a lot. It's about direction now. Okay, before we've been letting things go and letting things go and letting things go and letting things go. Okay, and that's been great. All right, and as we've been letting go, Okay. It's been a lot of, it's kind of a passive act. Like we haven't actually, like, and I'm not saying that people haven't actually like let things go, but I feel like it's been more like a passive kind of internal situation. I feel as though Thursday, it's more, we're going to have to start getting ready to take some action. Okay. And it might not be, Thursday per se. It's obviously like these things are processes, but I feel like we're going to have to prepare to take that action. Anything that's still lingering, okay, because the unseen hands have been working. Okay, they've been working this entire week and they've been moving things around so that all the things that we decided to let go of, all of the things that we decided to call in, all of the things that we have been working internally, okay, and asking for, we're about to start to have to we are going to have to start to take external action on those things very soon. Okay. And that's what this feels like after the moon gets done, the square and the square to the sun and in opposition to Jupiter, and then coming into square Mercury. It's like, okay, because the moon has just kind of been like, what the hell? But if we're in highest good place, if we're in the place that's in our highest good, we can now align. Okay, we can now align our emotional intelligence, okay, that emotional clarity that we have from asking what's in our highest good, and infuse that into that concept of the dream. Okay, our dream is now going, like, we have this concept, the consciousness is aligned, okay, the concept is aligned. What is in our highest good? What is for our highest good? Okay, and let that be the guiding force. Okay, and we're going to be very, very, if we allow this to happen, it's a lot of friction. It could be a lot of confusion, like I said, and just a lot of mental back and forth. But we're going to have to release and let go of whatever is not for us, whatever is not in alignment with our highest good and with this dream that we're calling in. Because the dream, this is the whole point of blueprint season, the last moon cycle, and this dream that we're calling in during this moon cycle. This is about what is highest for us. It's about what's highest for us. So in order for us to, make this dream a reality, we really, really have to stop our mental back and forth. Okay, we have to get very, very clear. We have to get balanced in our emotional intelligence, okay? We have to get balanced, and we have to do what we need to do to align, okay, on an emotional level. This is really, really about another level of alignment, another level of deep alignment, because, like I said, Mercury's moving backwards, so it's rethinking, okay? And all the stuff that we've been, going through and thinking about letting go of and all of that stuff, it's coming to, it's a lot of clarity about it now. Okay, it's a lot of clarity now. All right? Anything that we've been like, okay, this should go, or this needs to be rearranged, or I should leave this, or, whatever the case may be, like, and we haven't quite done it yet. Like I said, it's been a very passive thing. And now that those unseen hands have moved things around, like it's becoming a lot clearer. Okay, it's a lot clearer because now the ways are starting to show up. The ways that we need to move, how we need to build are showing up. And it's really, really important that we keep that alignment and understand where we're going and what we need to begin to take action to actually remove. Okay, and these are the things that, it might just be a mental decision that we have to make, like a simple, I'm done with this. Okay, it might just literally be something that simple. I am done, officially done. Like no more, I'm done, but, okay, or that sucks, but there's no more buts. Okay, there's no more buts, all right? And I think that that's the energy of Thursday. There can be no more but. I know that's a really funny sentence, but we can't have that anymore. Okay, if it's not aligned, it's not aligned. Okay, and that keeps us out of our clarity. Every time we say it, yes, but this is true, but how can it be true, but? Okay, it can't. Like, either it's true or it's not true. Okay, so every time we say but, we're calling in something that's misaligned and false. Okay, we can't say there's no more buts. That's what Thursday's about. There are no more buts. Either it is or it isn't. And we're going to get very clear and start getting ready to take some action to get rid of the isn'ts. Okay, and then the moon is going to move into Cancer, okay, where we're talking about, our emotional sustenance and our emotional security, okay, and the moon is going to sextile Uranus, okay, so now that we will have gone through this whole gauntlet, like I said, of like squaring the sun, opposing Jupiter, squaring Mercury. Okay, the moon has been through it on Thursday. Okay, the moon has been through it. And the moon is like, I'm real clear. Okay, I am very clear. This is what's true. There are no buts. Okay, there are no buts. And this is what's true. So when the moon moves into Cancer, the moon is now back into feeling realm. Like, not that we weren't feeling before, but like I said, it was going through our emotions were going through our mind. Like, we were processing a lot of stuff in our minds about how we feel. Okay, now we're back into feeling. Okay, and we're back into that more intuitive gut feeling sense. Okay, that's what Cancer is. Cancer is like that gut feeling. All right, and we're moving into Cancer, and then the moon's going to sextile Uranus and Taurus, okay, on that 0 degree, okay? The moon will be at 0 degrees Cancer. It's 0 degrees of cardinal signs are incredibly powerful, okay? This is going to start a new emotional cycle for us, okay? Cardinal signs initiate, okay? They initiate action, and they also initiate their initiatory signs. They're signs of initiation. Okay, and Taurus it's a fixed sign, and like I said, it's about building. It's about what we have and what we have to build with. Okay, so you can't build shit if you don't have shit to build with. Okay, so Taurus is making sure that we have what we need to build, and then we can build the thing. Okay, and it's strong and it's steady. Okay, and we take a lot of patience and we take a lot of care. All right, so once the moon gets into Cancer, I think it'll feel a lot better, but I think it's gonna be like, whoa, what the hell? Like I said, but we'll have clarity. Okay, we're gonna have clarity, and we're gonna be emotionally aligned in our truth. Okay, and because we'll be emotionally aligned in our truth, we can start a new cycle. Okay, and that sextile to Uranus and Taurus, Uranus liberates. Okay, Uranus is about liberation, breaking ground. We will be liberated from the old things, the old emotional back and forth, the old emotional yes, but. Okay, there will be, we'll be moving out of that. Okay, that's what that sextile to Uranus is saying. We can move out of that way of feeling. Okay, where our emotions are constantly like, oh, yeah, but. No, we can actually do that, and we can come to a place of security, a place of emotional security, okay? And be able to build from that, okay? Because once we are liberated in that sense emotionally, we can start a new emotional cycle, okay? Coming into that 0 degrees with Uranus, okay, we can start this new emotional cycle, where it's a cycle of growth from a place of security, from a place of emotional clarity, okay? And Uranus can, once again, break that ground to build, okay? We're building our dream home within ourselves, okay? So having that clarity within ourselves and understanding that we can build from that, okay? Feeling into the fact that we can build from that. That's what this is about, okay? And also on Thursday, Mars is going to trine Saturn. Okay, so while the moon is kind of going through all this stuff and coming into clarity and like really, really getting clear, And then, moving into Cancer and, being liberated from all of the back and forth and the flip-flopping, and coming into a place of security because of the clarity. Okay, we have emotional security when we are clear. Okay, we have emotional security when we are clear on what it is that we want, how it is that we feel about things. Okay, when there's no more buts, we have that security. Mars in Taurus, okay, is going to trine Saturn and Capricorn. Once again, trines are very, very pleasant. It's flowing aspect. Mars in Taurus is basically clearing. Okay, it's clearing the ground for Uranus to come through. Okay, and Mars is doing all the heavy, moving bricks and, uprooting weeds and, kind of clearing the ground so that Uranus can break it. Okay. And Mars is taking that action. Mars and Taurus wants to build. Okay. Mars and Taurus wants to use our resources. Okay. Saturn rules Capricorn and is about structures. Okay. It's about the structures that we build. It's about the foundations that we build. Okay. So Mars clearing this ground and having, wanting to work with our resources and wanting to be patiently and diligently working with our resources. Saturn is, they're talking about what it is that Mars is clearing the ground for. Okay. What are we clearing for? Okay. Because Mars is going to be moving into Gemini soon, and Mars is going to be in a different mode of action. Okay. So it's almost like Mars and Saturn are talking. Okay. And Saturn's like, okay, like, this is the structure. This is the structure that we need. Okay. Moving forward. Okay. Because Mars is that action of breaking, not breaking ground, but clearing. It's the action. It's our will. Okay. It's why we do what we do. Okay. So it's this alignment between why we're doing what we're doing. Okay. What is our motivation? The motivation is this foundation. The motivation is the structure that we are building. Okay. So that it is secure, so that it is strong, and so that it is created in our own authority. Okay. That's what this is about. It's about, Mars trine Saturn. We're going to be able to like really get work done. And see it done, especially as we're coming into clarity. Like, we're going to start to maybe see a little something, Saturn's form. Okay. It's form, it's manifestation. Okay. Earth is manifestation. So as we get clear, we open up the doors. Okay. As we get emotionally clear, okay, we open up the doors for manifestation. Okay. That's what we're doing as the moon is squaring the sun and Mercury and opposing Jupiter, and we are asked what is in our highest good. We open up the doors for manifestation. Mars in Taurus, Saturn in Capricorn. We open up the doors for the foundations of that manifestation to occur. Okay, so it's really, really important that we align. What is in my highest good? Give me clarity. Let me see. Okay, because we might actually start to see some things in our physical spaces. Okay, and even if we can't see the physical things, we might actually be able to work to make some things happen. Okay, it's taking that slow action, that slow, steady, empowering action. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I feel as though we are going, it won't be such a passive thing. I think we're going to have the talks. I think we're going to have to do the things. Okay. I feel like Thursday is the start of that process with that first quarter square. We're going to have to do some stuff. All right. It's not just about, oh, okay, like I've made this decision and let the unseen hands. I feel as though we are going to have to take some actions pretty soon. Okay. And it might not be this week per se, because Mercury is still retrograde, but we're going to have to get aligned with what those actions are and allow for that manifestation to take place. We got to get out of our own way. Okay. And then Friday, the 15th, the sun in Pisces, which is the consciousness of this dream that we're holding, is going to trine the North Node in Cancer. Okay, and by the sun trining the North Node in Cancer, is once again, it's a trine. It's an easy flowing aspect between water signs. So this is like an intuitive understanding. Okay, it's an intuitive understanding of what is home, where is home, who is home. Okay, and this dream is infusing that. Okay, and our sense of home is infusing our dream. Okay, so there's an alignment between, really, it's our dream home. Okay, our dream home. It's aligned. Okay, and there's energy exchange between the two. All right, so that's the sun trine the North Node. When the sun trines the North Node, it also sextiles the South Node. So once again, when the sun sextiles the South Node, it's showing us, okay, it's showing us, South Node is, people like to say it's like karmic actions, and not all karma is bad. Okay, and I feel like with the sextile, it's an opportunity to maybe pull from the past where we were secure, okay, where we felt secure and empowered all at the same time, okay, and to pull those experiences, okay, and not, verbatim and, just as they were, but to pull from that sense of feeling, to remember that sense of feeling of, I felt secure and empowered, and I want to bring this into my dream. Okay, because sometimes, I know for myself, even if you've been in a harder situation, or a situation of like deep soul learning, or whatever the case may be, you actually forget sometimes when things are constantly shifting and changing. You forget what it feels like to stand on solid ground. And I feel like that aspect of that sextile is, it's remembering solid ground. Okay, it's remembering that we were not always in a state of upheaval. We were not always in a state of disempowerment. We were not always in a state, there have been moments in our lives, okay, where we have had some form of stability and it didn't cost us anything. Remember those moments, even if it was for 5 minutes, okay? Because those are the moments that you remember. And I feel like that sextile is pulling that into the dream, okay? And then the trine to the North Node is allowing us to infuse that in, okay? This is the feeling of empowerment. This is the feeling of security and empowerment and standing and rooting into myself, okay? Where it didn't cost me anything, because it's not supposed to cost you anything. Okay? All right? This is the feeling of security that I want to pull in. This is the feeling of security that I want to bring home. Okay? Especially after, everything of all the clarity of the day before, and, opening the doors for manifestation and getting ready to, really, really getting ready to take some action. Okay? Then the sun is going to conjunct Mercury for the inferior conjunction. Okay, so this is basically Mercury being roughly halfway through retrograde. Okay, and when the sun and Mercury conjunct during a retrograde, there is a moment of clarity. Okay, there is clarity. Okay, so the moon just got real clear the day before. Okay, and we, like I said, ask, what is in my highest good? What is aligned for me? When we do that, this inferior conjunction, it opens everything up, because then we come to an understanding, okay, a true understanding in our souls. Okay, Pisces is the soul. They're making this inferior conjunction in Pisces, okay, where Mercury is really that feeling mind. So we're intuiting everything. Our souls are aligned with our thinking process, okay, and that inferior conjunction, things are going to get very clear for us. Okay, we got mentally and emotionally clear the day before. Now we are clear on a soul level for what it is that needs to happen, what it is that we need to do. Okay, and that wraps up the astrology for the next 4 days. I did pull cards for the week, or I guess the next 4 days, and actually, I didn't pull them. They flew out of the deck while I was shuffling. And it's the Prince of Wands and the Knight of Wands. Okay, now I read from the Thoth deck, and the Prince of Wands is air of fire. And The Knight of Wands is fire of fire. Okay, so this to me is spirit. Okay, this is spirit. This is spirit moving through us. Okay, and this is aligning. Okay, I know we don't have, too many planets in fire signs right now. In fact, I think Jupiter and Chiron, Jupiter and Chiron. Oh, shoot. That was the other thing I meant to mention. Sorry about that before I go into this. The moon in Cancer, okay, on Thursday, when the moon moves into Cancer and sextiles Uranus, I did forget to mention, the moon is also going to square Chiron, okay? And there could be some friction there, okay, about, we're going to want to act, okay? And remember I was saying like that opportunity to liberate from Uranus, okay? We're going to be wanting to liberate ourselves from whatever has been hurting us. We have clarity about it now. Okay, and we're going to be able to see, oh, this is not good. This is not aligned for my highest healing. Okay, because Chiron it's a wound. Okay, it's our wound, and in Aries, it's the wound of our will, or the wound of someone else's will against us. Okay, we're gonna want to break free. Okay, a square is going to cause some friction, so we're going to be feeling, the potential for healing while also feeling the potential for liberation, and we're going to want to move. Okay, and I think that that's what these two cards are saying. It's the clarity. Okay, it's because when we have air of fire, that is our mind aligned with our spirit, mind and spirit. Okay, we're thinking about our actions. Okay, we know how we want to act. Okay, it's intellect and action together. Fire of fire is the action. Okay, that's spirit aligned with action. All right, so something's moving this week. Okay, and I don't know, we're in the next 4 days or so. We are moving inside, whether it's just an internal shift, but something is ignited inside of us. And I think that all happens on Thursday. Okay, I think that once we get that mental clarity, or that emotional clarity, that can also become mental clarity because his moon is in Gemini. So it's the emotions and the mind. Once we get that clarity and align with our highest good, align with spirit, align with the fire, any action we take will be aligned with spirit. Okay, and we're aligning with spirit in thought and action. That's what this means. Prince of Wands, Knight of Wands, aligning with spirit in thought and action. That is Thursday's message, essentially, of what is in my highest good. When we ask for that, that's alignment with spirit. That's alignment with our truth. The truth for you, the truth for me, the truth for everyone on the planet. When everyone aligns with their truth, then everything works out for the benefit of everything and everyone around us. Okay, and Prince of Wands and Knight of Wands, this is that. What is my highest truth? Let me know it. Let me act on it. Okay, so that is the message for the next 4 days. I will be on time this week with the podcast. I promise. Things are much, much more settled, and there's no child here to drive me crazy for 2 straight days. So I really hope that you all enjoyed it. Thank you all for your patience in, getting this out, and thank you all for listening. If you have any questions about me, would like to schedule a reading either for astrology or tarot, or perhaps get some body work, please visit my website, elementsandalchemy.com. You can also find me on Instagram at elementsandalchemy. Pisces season playlist is up on Spotify under Elements and Alchemy if you want to, get some cool Pisces vibes going. And I think that is it. I will talk to you guys on Friday. Thank you so much for all of your love and support. I appreciate every single last one of you. Have a good 4 days, friends.